So before I start, my name is Niklas Wallgren and I am the business development manager at Adverty. I just want to ask you guys before I start, I guess there's a lot of developers here. Who's used, you can just raise your hand if you used ad monetization before. Okay, so I just want to know my audience before talking. So what we're going to talk about today is pretty much how you can monetize your AR or VR games with native and non-intrusive advertising. I'm going to start off with just introducing you to Adverty. There's going to be, I'm going to talk a little bit more as well as about the background, both when it comes to the current state of the VR and AR market and where it's going, but also a background on advertising so you get the idea behind our company pretty much. So first off, here's the team in Stockholm. You can see me on the right there together with the CEO who's pointing his finger. And yeah, we actually have a guy in London as well, our CRO, Adam, who's not in the picture. And as you may see, we're very passionate about AR and VR. We're pretty much playing around with, of course, the HTC Vive and Rift, but as well as the AR headsets, such as the HoloLens and the Meta 2. So we love to play around with these things in the office. I'm going to start with talking a little bit about the market. So I found this article in Forbes. It's using a lot of different sources you can see down there to the left about the adoption rate of VR. And what's really important to know about when looking at this is only about the installed base. This is only about hardware. This has pretty much nothing to do with software. And it was a pretty slow start, to be honest, but as you may see, this year together with 2019 and 2020, the adoption rates are going to go up to 50% per household. And when it comes to AR, that's even more impressive. I mean, when Apple released ARKit and Google released AR Core, that's a lot of units that could use AR straight away. But as I said, this is pretty much only hardware, devices that can use AR and VR. So that's growing, but when it comes to development of software, such as games and apps, it's really important for the developers to have multiple options on how you can actually monetize your game or app. When it comes to VR today, you can use, like, as in the previous talk, have your game in an arcade. You can put a premium price on the game, but I've seen everything from like 15 euros to 60 euros. So the options aren't that clear. And for AR, you can of course use ad monetization, but the ad monetization today is not made for augmented reality experiences. Those ad monetization SDKs are pretty much just static overlays while you're using the camera AR mode. And that's going to destroy the AR experience since you're covering up the camera view. So we thought about this monetization options that are like available today when it comes to VR and AR. And I'm going to talk a little bit more of how we are solving this. I'm not saying that we're the only solution to monetizing VR. We just want to give another clear option on how you can actually make money while doing VR and AR games or apps. So before I start talking to you guys about our SDK, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into technical details while using our SDK later, but before we start doing that, we need to rewind the tape to give you a background story on why we started Adverty and what this is all about. So this is the chronicles of advertising. So this is pretty old, right? This is probably one of the first ads. This is a regular print ad. It's still being used. And I guess it was pretty cool when it came. I sure was not alive when that came, but I guess it was a pretty cool thing for the companies. The difficulties with print ads, and it's still being used, that is physical, this is offline, it's static, it's completely uncontrolled targeting. You never know, as an advertiser, who you're reaching out to. You might know which magazine you're in or that kind of stuff, but you're never actually sure who reads that magazine. So this is going to be a little more of the advertiser's perspective, so we're going to get more to the developer side later. And then we have out-of-home advertising, and you could say that this is immersive. This is something that you see while maybe you're driving your car on your way home along the highway and you see this ad unit pretty much alongside the road. But it still has its issues. And this is also being used today. It's physical and it's offline, just as a print ad. It's also static. It's very complex and not scalable. And it's very expensive as well. And the advertisers aren't getting in data from this. And then of course the TV ads, the commercials. This is different. This is dynamic. It's a moving picture, something that tells a story. But we still have the same issues with that. It was offline, it was difficult to target and measure. Even if the advertiser had an ad between a certain show or a specific time of the day, you're actually never sure who's behind that TV at the moment. So we thought about this together with the digital advertising that's out there today and thought, why not combine them? And together with the VR technology and AR technology today, I'm actually going to show you how it looks like. So this is the first game that went live with our SDK. This is a game called Merge Nobles from a Swedish studio called Hat Rabbit Entertainment. And what's pretty cool here is that you might think that these pictures, these ads, are just pictures that the developer put into the game. They're not. This is actually ad units that are receiving ads from our server. I'm going to walk you through how this works more technically later. But these ad units could be getting ads from all kinds of different advertisers actually. So we have the VR platform and the AR platform, right? So I'm going to talk about the virtual reality advertising platform first. And first off, the advertisers see this as a premium service. So in relationship to regular ad monetization, we're offering a very high eCPM. And this is because the ads are seamless. It's a very immersive way for the users to experience a brand. The advertisers also get information about what context their ads are being shown in. And this is actually good for you as a developer as well, because not only are the advertisers getting relevant ads into the games, you're getting relevant ads into your game. You want something that fits your game. And the ads are native. It's a part of the game environment, which makes it non-intrusive, because it's seamlessly integrated. The VR advertising platform is supported by both mobile VR as well as desktop and console VR. So yeah, next up I'm gonna talk a little bit about the AR platform, but first I'm gonna show you a video just to give you guys an idea of how it could look like. This is not a real game, this is a demo. Let's see if I can get it started. So this is at our office. We have this city in augmented reality. These banner ads are provided from our ad server. With AR, we actually support rewarded video and CPI advertising as well. So we actually touch an ad unit, get the video rolling, and then we're going to come to the landing page where the user can actually install the app and trigger a CPI deal. So with the AR platform, it's in-app, it's also non-intrusive. You can do it natively if you're placing the ad units on your environment, on the buildings that we saw there. Or you could have a separate ad unit, like a banner behind the city. You can have animated and touchable ad units with rewarded video support. So if you want to do soft and hard currency in your game, that works completely fine with our SDK. So why should you monetize your AR and VR games with native and non-intrusive ads? I would say first and foremost, there's a lot of small indie developers out there. And I guess it's pretty hard to set a premium price the first thing you do, releasing your first game. So while monetizing with ads, you can actually afford to go free. Or you can afford to set a cheaper price on your game to attract more customers. While doing that, you're getting a bigger user base. And it's easier for you as a studio to get brand awareness both around your IP, but also around your studio itself. So you can actually like make a Rovio if you like. And also, it's ad monetization that's not going to be intrusive for your users. This is a part of the game. So while they're playing the game, they're not thinking of the ads as they're thinking of ads before. I mean, if you're in a virtual reality city, ads are usually in cities, right? So why not have real ads that you're actually monetizing on? And speaking of monetizing, when it comes to the CPMs and in specific the eCPMs at the moment, we're already a lot higher than usual ad tech in regular mobile games. We're currently at an eCPM of $5. This is $5 per 1,000 views. And before 2020, we're actually going to reach eCPMs over $50. So next up, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how this actually works, more like business-wise. So you have us in the middle, right? You have Adverty with our platforms for AR and VR. Mixed reality, that's for the future. Not too long, I hope, with the headsets coming out. On the left, you have the advertisers. And on the far right there, you have you, the developers, who's actually making money out of this. So let's start with the advertisers on the left side. So we're talking to a lot of direct advertisers. This could be media agencies, it could be brands, but also games and apps for CPI advertising deals. But also indirect advertisers, such as Rubicon. And they pay us money depending on the CPM, CPCV, CPI pricing, and we split this revenue with you as a developer. And the revenue share, the standard revenue share, is between 50 to 70%. So this is what you get. And by saying between 50 and 70%, that all depends on the volume of impression that your game actually delivers. So daily active users and retention, these are very important things to think about while doing this. So now it's going to be a little bit more about the technical stuff. So when it comes to our platform, we're Unity only at the moment. We're going to get Unreal support in the near future. We support both, of course, Android and iOS when it comes to AR, but also for cardboard, pretty much all headsets, and we're looking into mixed reality headset support or wearable augmented reality, or spatial computing, as Magic Leap likes to talk about. The integration itself, the SDK, it's only about 3 minutes. But then, of course, like when you've integrated the SDK and actually placing the ad units, which I'm going to show you very soon, this is completely up to you. You can spend 5 minutes just like putting ad units randomly into your environment, or you can spend actually some time in making this a part of your design process, making the ads a part of the game environment, your objects, everything. So you choose how much time you want to put on actually making the ad units seamless into the game. And size of the SDK, it's only 250 kilobytes. And we realized that this is really, really important when it comes to mobile AR and mobile VR. Because we do not want to affect the size of your game, right? And when it comes to performance, we've done a lot of QA testing and there's near to none performance impact. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to show you a video. And this video actually shows in Unity how you place and add units into the game. So let's see if I can get it rolling. So we have this template ad unit here, the Coca-Cola ad. And with using our smart bend technology, you can actually bend the ad unit to fit that pipe. You can choose the format of the ad, you can choose the size of the ad, but also the scene context feature, so you can actually choose where this ad is seen. So you can let the advertisers know if this is in the future, in the past, if it's outside, inside, daytime, nighttime, etc. And that's it. That's how you place an ad unit. It's that easy. So now you might think, how do we know when the users, your users, actually see an ad unit? There is this regular kind of impression system, and we realized that that would not work in virtual reality or augmented reality. And I'm going to explain why. So in this picture you see here, imagine that this is virtual reality and you're sitting in the couch there. And all of these products, such as the Beats headphones, which are the letter E, as well as the Wii Fit, letter D, and the PS4, letter C, together with the iPad and a MacBook on the sides. With a regular gaze-based solution for impressions, impressions would only be triggered for the Beats headphones and the Wii Fit, which is E and D. But that's not really true. You're actually seeing the PS4. You're not looking directly at it, but you're actually seeing it. You're perceiving that that product is there. So our tech guys actually developed an algorithm, which is the BrainImpression, and we thought about how the human eye works, how you perceive stuff around you, because you're in a virtual world, right? So with the BrainImpression algorithm, an impression would actually be triggered for that PS4, even though you're not looking directly at it. And this is beneficial for both the advertisers and the developers, because for the advertisers, this is about honesty, that they pay like for what the users actually see. But also for you developers, because this removes the need of putting this in your face pop-up ads. You don't have to place the ads straight in front of the user. So you can have it like on the sides if you're walking through a city, on the buildings, or alongside a racetrack, and it's still going to trigger impressions. So with this BrainImpression technology, we thought about how can you as a developer know that your ad units are going to trigger impressions before releasing the game. So we developed a feature called the imvis feature, which I'm going to show right here. It's another unit of video. So before I start playing it, what you can think of while seeing this is the ad units that you're looking at are actually going to blink green if the user has perceived the ad. Let's see how this goes. Oh no, it does. So you see that the Heineken ad just blinked green, as well as the Coca-Cola ad. The one in the middle there does not blink, and that's because there's an object in front of it. And there we go. So in this way you can actually, while play testing or such, make sure that the ad units that you place in your game environment will actually be seen by your users. So we talked about pretty much the background of Adverty, why we're doing what we're doing, the problems of the current state of the market with that there aren't that many options for developers to monetize, and in order to make the market to grow, there needs to be multiple ways for developers to monetize except premium pricing or maybe VR arcades. We need to have a lot of options for the developers. So I'm not saying we're the only solution to monetizing VR games or AR games. We're one of the few clear options on how you can monetize your game. And that is pretty much it. If you're interested in learning more, even signing up to get the SDK to try it out, we'd be happy if you sign up on our website. If you have any questions you want to or if you want to talk to me later, just grab me out on the floor. But that's it. Thank you.
Did anybody have any questions from the audience? There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
So all of the examples that you showed us were from the banners of the cities and where you would actually meet the advertisements, right? What if our game doesn't have the build where we have those kind of places in it? What if it's back in a fantasy world and those kind of banners just don't exist in our world? How would you monetize that? Where would you put an ad?
So this is, of course, not going to work for every game out there. And that's something that we're completely transparent about. Like, either if there's like, let's say it's like a space shooter and it's like going really fast and there's like no physical objects around in the space where you can place the ad units. I would say either you can try to be creative, using our ad units as a part of the design process, maybe creating a satellite or something that you're flying by. But also we do have some prefabs that comes with the SDK, just to get the creativity going and like see how can I actually utilize these ad units into the game environment. But of course, not every scenario is going to work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Maris is asking a question.
Hi, so you showed the example of the AR implementation where you had this billboard on the building and then you clicked it and then it flipped into full screen commercial. So with the VR, with the VR headset version, so there is no such behavior that you, when you stare at some billboard too long, it flips you into another experience where you're inside the Coke bottle or something. We are looking into several options on how to extend the monetization. We are very careful about that because we don't want to ruin the immersiveness of the game. I would also wonder that then the ad that you would open up would also have to be basically VR compatible. Or yeah, of course. Like one example would be, let's say that you press an ad and there would be like a 360 video that you're transported to. That would be one solution. Another solution would be that you're transported to another 3D environment, or there's a lot of ways to do this. We're still experimenting on which way that's the best one. The goal, like in the future, is to get, instead of having like 2D banners on 3D objects, we're looking into actually having 3D objects as the advertisements. But the challenge right now is that it's really not that effective when it comes to performance, pushing a 3D unit from server.